Okay, welcome back, and thank you for staying with us through this whole thing. I'm here with Larry Lasala. Larry, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. You wanted to get right into the questions, so we'll start with the easy one. You're the only candidate in this primary that's a total outsider. You were never on the council, and you're not currently on the council. What's motivating you to run for this office?
Well, I think basically it's time for a little bit of a change. The council, some of the members have been doing an excellent job, but there are others there that I think, okay, that we should replace with some different ideals and new ideas.
Okay. So do you have any specific legislative or policy goals? What do you want to focus on? What would you do differently?
Well, what would I do differently, he queries. First of all, I'd like to get into the question, okay, about the liquor licenses in town. I'm dead for, okay, getting liquor licenses to more and more businesses, okay, and doing away with the existing law of 1 mile. I think it's restricting business, okay, and it's not good. Jefferson needs to expand. Jefferson needs new business, okay. We need ratables. And it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, okay, to have an Applebee's or an Outback, okay, in our town. I mean, do we really need another pizza parlor? I mean, seriously. So that's my stand on that.
Interesting. So just for the viewers, you alluded to the law. So it's Township of Jefferson, New Jersey Code, Chapter 142-6, transfer of license to a new premises. So that's what you were referring to. And so for the record, you got ahead of me a little bit. So you think we should totally do away with that law? We should.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So you couldn't be more clear than that. If elected, what do you consider to be your personal area of professional expertise?
Well, my personal area, I have a business management degree from St. John's University, and I think my knowledge and education, okay, and my life in general would bring a lot to the council, okay, and a lot to the town. And to me, all right, the town is the most important thing.
Okay. And so you said you have about life experience. So you're also a combat veteran, is that
That's correct.
Okay. You said you lived in town for almost 30 years now?
That's correct.
What's your favorite part of Jefferson, generally speaking?
Oh, favorite. What can I say as far as the better town? It's the geographic, the municipal complex, okay, and the geographic of the lakes and the forestry and whatever may be. I mean, this is a wonderful place to raise children, okay, and to get them an education. And we are losing people from the town because of taxes and whatever may be. And we need, okay, to retain the people that are here and to bring new people in. And that's the way I stand on that.
Okay then. Generally speaking, do you support term limits?
Absolutely, absolutely. People get too comfortable without term limits, and definitely term limits should be in play, okay, and give other people an opportunity to bring their expertise, okay, to the table.
So, if elected, would you pursue creating municipal term limits? Would you make that one of your priorities?
Absolutely, yes.
So, kind of alluding to the new businesses and that kind of thing that we talked about before, do you think Camp Jefferson should be privatized?
I think that has to be looked at, and I think that has to be. The people have to see facts and figures, okay, on that situation, and then after they see the facts and figures, I think that should be left to the people on a ballot to determine, okay, whether or not Camp Jefferson, okay, remains, okay, with the municipality or whether or not it goes private. Again, let the people see the numbers, let the people decide.
Okay. So one of the things that's being talked about right now is creating municipal wards in town. And just for the viewers, a ward is a little district inside of the town where each of the council members would run exclusively in that district. So we wouldn't be elected townwide, you would only be elected by your local neighborhoods. So what are your opinions on municipal wards? Should we create them?
No, absolutely not. This is one town. This
Okay.
is one town in Jefferson. Why do we need, okay, more politicians, okay, to create more havoc? Okay, we're not the Democratic Party where we believe, okay, in big government. No, we got to keep it manageable, and the way the situation is, we are one town, and that's the way it should remain.
Okay. So the second half of that question, you've been pretty clear about municipal wards. In your opinion, should we expand the council to have additional seats?
No,
So 5 is good enough?
I think 5 on the council is perfect, and I don't think it should be expanded to any degree.
Okay. So this one's an abstract question. We got a lot of questions that were kind of similar, and I think they all get to the idea of electability. We have 5 candidates running in a primary, and we want to put forward the 3 that are going to be the best suited to deal with the Democrats in the general election. So, some of the questions were how can you broaden the base, can you reach out to independents, things like that. So can you just take a few moments and make the case to anybody in the community that typically doesn't vote Republican or didn't vote Republican in the last cycle as to why they should join the team?
Well, I think the council, the people that didn't vote Republican the last time around really don't have any idea as to how much the Republicans have meant to this town. I think if we were under a Democratic thumb, to be very honest with you, I think our taxes would be higher, and so would the government hands, and that's my feeling on it. I think the Republicans have done a wonderful job in this town, and they should continue doing that.
Okay. So, again, like we said before, there's 5 candidates running in this primary. If you are not one of the nominees, will you support the nominee of the party?
Yes,
Okay.
I will definitely support, okay, my fellow Republicans, win, lose, or draw.
Okay. Going right through all of these. Is there any point, can you tell us about any moment where you maybe, with new information, looking back, you regret having made a certain decision? Do you have any moment where you think you would have done things differently if you could do it over again?
Yes. Several years ago, I was approached about running for council or whatever it may be, and I stepped aside because I thought a certain individual, okay, would do a better job than I could at that particular point in time. And I've come to realize that that was a mistake on my part, that I should have run and I should have taken a position on that council. The individual was not even, as far as I'm concerned, a Republican. She was a Democrat, okay, for 20 some odd years prior to her so-called Republican candidacy, and I feel that that was a mistake that I made, okay, and I should have corrected that. And that's why I'm running now.
Okay. Can you tell us, and I kind of think this is a fun one, but so have some fun with it. But can you tell us who is a political leader, not necessarily an elected official, but somebody that's in the political realm? Who is somebody that you think you most admire in terms of political leaders?
I've got to go with our President Trump.
Yeah.
There's no two ways about it. When I think before the pandemic hit that we were within points of reaching 30,000, okay, on the S&P, and if you would have said that to somebody 10 years ago, they would have just shook their heads and said, no way. But what he's done to turn this country around, okay, with the economy and the unemployment situation was fantastic. Unfortunately now he's being battered because of this pandemic, okay, but I tell you, he was somebody I would follow in hell. To be very honest with you.
Okay. Rosemary spoke in her statement about leadership. She said that now is a time when leaders really need to come forward. When you think about an elected official, what do you think about leadership? You know, what does somebody need to do when you think about a township council person?
I think somebody, okay, that is very, very familiar with the questions at hand and what's going on in the town, and has their thumb, okay, on everything surrounding them, and gets the education, okay, and comes up with a solution, okay. No backdoor deals or whatever may be, but to sit down and look, to me, transparency is very, very, very important. And I think the people of this town should be more in tune as to what's going on with the council, okay? Very, very disappointed, okay, what went on last year, okay, with the pensions that some of our people in town received, which was totally out of control
Do
and
you
should
want
have
to talk
never
more about
happened.
that for the viewers? Because the average voter probably doesn't know what you're referring to.
Well,
Do you wanna talk
I'm
about
referring to a certain individual who wound up with a $200,000 pension. I don't want to mention names or it may be, but that was double dipping into several pensions, and which is totally wrong. And it was approved by the council, okay? And who pays for it? Us taxpayers, okay? And I think that this is something too that the voters, okay, should have had some say, or had more transparency as to what was going on with these pensions.
Okay. So specifically in the area of transparency, what would you do? How, you know, what do you think they should be doing?
Well, I think that what they should be doing, okay, is giving several weeks' notice, a couple of weeks' notice as to what the agendas are, okay, or with the council meetings, and give people an opportunity, okay, to sit in and listen, not just make decisions, okay, without the people knowing about it.
Do you see yourself? You're obviously very motivated and you're passionate. Do you see yourself ever running for a higher office beyond the council?
It's a possibility at this particular point in time. Naturally, health has a lot to do with it, and whatever it may be. And if I remain as healthy as I am right now, I don't see why not.
Okay, so we could see
Absolutely.
a Larry Lasala running for assembly at some point.
Absolutely.
Wow,
No reason.
that's exciting. You know.
It would be.
When you look back on your life, not including, you know, marriage and children, what would you say is your proudest moment?
My proudest moment would probably be my service to the country. Okay, I'm very, very proud of what I did, okay, what I had to do, and if I had to do it all over again, believe it or not, I would. That's the proudest moment.
Wow. Well, thank you for the service. We definitely appreciate that.
Thank you.
We already said we went over, you know, the nominees. We have 5 people running. The voters have the opportunity to vote for 3 candidates. What sets you, you know, what really sets you apart from your fellow candidates? What makes you unique, you know? You talked about your skills, but more specifically when you relate those skills to your other candidates, what makes you, you know, individually special?
I have no special interests.
Okay.
In plain English, I have no special interests. I don't belong to any organizations in town that need any extra support, okay, from the council. I would be totally fair, okay, with anything that would come up. And again, all right, I have no favorites, and I would be totally transparent when I came to be.
Okay. Let's see if we can get you another really, really interesting question. If you had one question that you could ask your fellow candidates, what would that question be? What would you present to them?
what are you going to do for the people of Jefferson Township?
Okay.
Very simple.
All right. So we have 5 minutes remaining in the interview. Do you have any final statements that you can take the rest of the time, or do you have anything that you want to say directly to the voters?
No, not really. What I would like to tell the voters is basically that we need more ratables in town. We have to bring business in town. We have too many foreclosures here. We have too many empty stores here, and we've got to get out there, okay, and get more ratables, and that would really, really help the town and the tax burden on the people. That really would, and that's the way I feel.
Okay. I have one other question that I just thought of. What has been the biggest obstacle that you've had to overcome in your life? Not necessarily like a proud, like you mentioned your service to the country, and that's obviously a huge obstacle. But in your personal and professional career, not in service to the country, what's been a big obstacle that you've had to overcome?
A personal obstacle is going into my second career in financial planning and insurance work, okay, having to completely re-scope, okay, my whole life, okay, and that was something that I really, really felt was very important, and I've been doing that now for almost 30 years, and that was a big jump for me, from going from where I was to where I am today.
Wow, that is an inspiring story. So I actually thought of just one more question. You mentioned that you're open-minded to running for a higher office if if the community said they wanted that. If elected, does that mean that the voters can rely on you to lobby those higher governments to be a real fighter for them? Would you say
Absolutely.
but more specifically, if I may, would you say that they could rely on you to go to the freeholder meetings, to go to Trenton when they have those open legislative meetings?
Without a doubt.
Okay.
Without a doubt. Complete support for the party, okay, and the organizations. Absolutely.
All right. So again, we have a couple minutes left. Do you have any final closing thoughts or any statements?
No. Vote for me, please. That's all I can say.
All right.
Thank you for the time. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, and thank you for taking the time to sit down with us. Again, for the voters, that's Larry Lasala on Election Day.